on the page. Your line is open.
Yeah, hi Danny. Thanks for taking the call. I guess my first question is, Lonzo Ball's father, LeVar, made it public that there's a preference to stay in Los Angeles. Does that statement or any of the other highly publicized statements affect Lonzo's appeal for the Celtics with this number one pick?
No, not at all. I understand that he's from Los Angeles, but we're going to draft whoever we think can help the Celtics, regardless of where the players want to play.
Can I get a second question in here, or you moved on to this?
No, your line is still open, sir.
Yeah, all right. So, Danny, one more question on that. Some of the big names top of this draft are point guards. Isaiah Thomas also obviously had a great year and a very meaningful part of your team. Does he have any input on who gets chosen with this pick, or maybe even if it's dealt?
No, he does not.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next goes line of Max Visitor with Slam Magazine. Please go ahead. Line is open.
Hey, Danny. Thank you for taking the time. You guys are top seed in the East. You're in the conference finals. Anybody number one pick. Did you see all this coming together so beautifully when you orchestrated that trade back in 2013?
No, I did not. I wish I could see that well into the future, but no. Never in a wildest imagination did we think we'd get a player like Jaylen Brown and have the number one pick in this year's draft. I remember at the time that we made that trade, I was even envious of Brooklyn and where they were, taking away two of our all-time great players in Paul Pierce and KG that I thought still had a lot of basketball left in them, and joining with Darren Williams, Lopez, Brook Lopez, and Joe Johnson. I really thought they had a formidable team there, and I was envious of where they were headed and where we were headed, but never did I imagine this would happen.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to the line of Terry Lyons with Digital Sports Desk. Please go ahead.
Hey, Danny. Congratulations on your luck tonight. Can you sort of take us through what's happened since the envelope was, we saw Wick on stage, but for those of us that were waiting in the comments, what happened between then and now for you? Was there a celebration? Can you paint that picture a little for us?
Well, I had about 7 of my staff that were here in the office, and they just, in my opinion, sort of overreacted even. It was a very loud and exciting celebration that went on in the office when we got the number one envelope, and everybody was jumping up on top of everybody and very, very excited. And since then, I've just been talking to the media.
Thanks a lot. That's great. You bet.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to the line of Robert Lopez with Deadspin. Please go ahead. Line is open.
Hi, Danny. Thanks for taking the time today. Just wanted to ask real quick as far as the number one pick. Lakers pick earlier today said that they still might be interested in trading depending on the right price. What do you guys? And then afterwards, he actually said, he's not needed to make the deal in February. Where do you guys stand as far as possibly doing something like that down the line? Is that a possibility now that you have the number one overall pick, or does it look like?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've had the number one pick for about a half hour now, so we will definitely look into seeing what is available any way we can to make our team a championship contender the best way. And any other questions, Mr. Lopez?
No, actually, I could ask one more. So, everything you're looking at, do you have a preference as far as player when it comes to the top overall pick? Are you looking more towards the point guard market, wings, anything in particular?
No, we're looking for the best player, and I think that has not been decided yet. I think that we have a handful of players in mind that we would really like to evaluate more. When these kids are young, most of the players that we have in mind are 18, 19 years old. And a lot of things can happen between now and March. Some kids grow through the process, but we'd like to evaluate a handful of players anyway. Thank you. Next, go to the line of James Wilkins with 1420 WBSMU Bedford, Mass. Please go ahead.
Hi, Danny. Thanks for taking the question. Actually, a two-part question for you. One, a lot of criticism about not making a deal at the deadline, but seeing how things have transpired, getting all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, which are going to get underway tomorrow, and now getting that first overall pick, how gratifying is it for you so that you stayed pat, you didn't force a deal that maybe some people wanted you to force, and instead you waited and got the best of both outcomes as of now. And then two, also, how gratifying is it for you that after last year kind of being forced into a scenario where at least many had the belief that you were kind of forced to take the player you got with the third overall pick in a two-player draft. This year you can take anybody that you'd like.
Well, I certainly don't think that we had to settle last year, first of all. We were very excited about Jalen and continue to be and think he has a really, really bright future. But it is exciting to have the number one pick now, and we haven't had it long, and I haven't really allowed myself to get all that excited yet because I've been hoping for the best, but preparing for whatever may happen. So we'll just explore every option there is, and we'll evaluate a handful of players to determine which was best. As far as gratification for not doing anything at the trade deadline, obviously, when we're trading a pick away, we're trading away a possibility at number one, even though it was only a 25% possibility. And the teams that are acquiring the pick at trade deadline are acquiring it has a 75% chance of not being the number one, and that's sort of how teams look at it, which is probably why we didn't get a deal done. Now there's clarity, and there will be more conversation, I'm sure, about that number one pick and the value of that pick. As far as our team, it is, the reason we didn't do a deal is we feel that we have a lot of really good players. We have players that have been here with us since training camp that are very good players that don't even get an opportunity to play. And, that if something happened to one of our players, they'd be able to step in. And we feel like our team is deep. We have good chemistry. They know Brad's system, and Brad knows them and their strengths and weaknesses. And just by bringing in a name on paper, sometimes those adjustments are more difficult. But anyway, we really liked our team, and they've really stuck together and accomplished a lot, especially get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, any questions you may have, please press star one at this time. We'll go to the line of James Ernest with the Grueling Truth. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Yes. Danny, do you feel that this is a very deep draft class this year, or is it more top-heavy?
Excuse me. Most drafts are, there's a gap after number one or number two, and then there's another group of players, in the next handful or so. But this draft, I think, is more evenly spread out through the top 10. And then I think that there's, another group of 10 that are very interesting with big upsides that probably aren't as sure things yet, but could very possibly turn out to be some of the best players in the league in time. Again, there's so many 18 and 19-year-olds that are being evaluated that it's really difficult to try to foresee which one are going to be the best.
Well, with having such a well-rounded team, do you feel that's a big advantage that you can take one of those younger players that are still rounding out their skill set, their size, and becoming a better player, as opposed to, say, some of the teams that might need to take more of a junior, senior player that's already become a grown man?
Well, I think that regardless of where teams are in the standings, I think that most of the top players are going to be the younger players this year. I think the good thing that we have for us is we don't have to force them into a situation where they have to carry a franchise or be more than they're capable of being. We had the number 3 pick last year, and Jaylen Brown has played excellent for us. He's playing 17-ish minutes a game, and we really think, and Jaylen really thinks, and his agent thinks, that it's been great development to play in important playoff games against some of the best competition in the NBA. And
we don't anticipate any 19-year-old kid to come in and lead us to the promised land at this stage. We do believe that some of these kids have a chance to be NBA All-Stars down the road, but it's good, I think, to not have to force them into being the star of a franchise right away.
Do you equate his growth to the leaders on the team and, of course, the coaching staff, just like you said, giving them the opportunity to learn from them and to grow?
Yeah, we have some very good veteran players in Avery Bradley and Al Horford and Jake Crowder and Isaiah Thomas. I mean, many guys that are just real good pros and know how to play and very good players. There's a lot that young players can learn from our veterans.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let's go to the line of Denise Saul with Women's Sports and Entertainment Network. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hi, Danny. Congratulations on getting the number one pick. What are some of the key characteristics you'd be looking for in the number one pick coming to play for Boston?
Well, I think that the most difficult thing to find in our game are players that can create offense for themselves or for others late in games. I think those are the most important characteristics.
And how soon do you think you would begin to start looking at the pick? Who are you going to choose, actually?
I don't know. We haven't had any conversations with any of their representatives yet, and we'll probably get on that within the next few days.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, any questions that you may have, please press star 1. We'll go to the line of Tim Weisberg with the Standard Times. Please go ahead.
Hi, Danny. You've been in a position a couple times in the past to be in the mix for the number one pick, and it hasn't worked out so that you got it. Now that you have it, do you think it puts you in an easier position or a harder position than the way the lottery is shaken out in the past?
You know what? I'm not sure of that. I think that I'll take the number one pick, and I'll let you know down the road. But I think that it puts us in an easier position. I think it creates the number one pick certainly has more value than the number 4 pick in whatever we want to do. We get our first choice of a player we want. It gives us clarity as we try to build our championship team moving forward as to what we exactly are trading and what player we're trading, if that's what we want to do. But again, it gives us the chance, most likely, to draft the player that we like the most after the evaluation process is over.
Thanks, Danny. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, any questions or comments, please press star 1 at this time. And with line of Robert Lopez with Deadspin. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hey, Danny. Thanks again for hopping on the call. Just really quick, you guys have obviously the top pick, but you also have a couple second rounders. You also have a bunch of younger guys on the team. If something came up during the draft as far as like a trade, maybe involving some of the second round picks, is that something you guys have considered? Maybe moving some of the other younger guys who might be on a contract right now?
You know what? We haven't gotten there. Again, there was just clarity made with us for half an hour, but I'm sure that there will be a lot of conversations over the next 5 or 6 weeks leading up to the draft.
Any other questions, Mr. Lopez?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Fourth line of James Wilkins with 1420 WBSM, New Bedford, Mass. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Danny, thanks again for taking another question. A couple of the top prospects in this year's draft, obviously being point guards, and Isaiah Thomas currently on the team. Have you had any thoughts going in with, obviously, the fact that you had the highest percentage to get the top pick? Any thoughts about how it would be to couple one of these point guards with Isaiah in the future?
Sure, I have thought about that. I've thought about that with all of the players, not just the point guards, and how do they fit in with our current core and so forth. And the beauty of Isaiah is he can play any style of basketball, and he's been terrific off the ball when Marcus Smart,
Terry Rozier have helped in ball handling responsibilities. We have a 5-man that plays point center sometimes, and Isaiah plays off the ball. But, the point guards in this draft are bigger point guards, bigger than even our 2 guards or taller than our small forward in some cases. So, they are big guards that are in this draft, and that makes it much easier as a fit.
Thank you. Thank you. And our last question will come from Terry Lyons with Digital Sports Desk. Please go ahead.
Thanks very much. Danny, following up on that, the league has just evolved from everybody always looking for big men to now much more of a fluid, offensive game where a 3-guard offense is desired, really. Can you just comment on that generally about how the league has changed and that now with this draft, it really plays right into that theory in your hands?
I think there just haven't been as many franchise-type centers, meaning guys that are the leading scorers on their team that play from the center position, as there has been in the past. But there still are teams that are playing big. I mean, Memphis is a team that has been very good success playing with 2 bigs a lot, with Zach and Marc Gasol, and we see San Antonio. In Game 1 against Golden State, they were playing 2 bigs in Pau Gasol and LaMarcus Aldridge. They're very big, so I think you can still be very successful, and quality, talented bigs are very, very valuable. And but in light of not having someone you can just build your franchise around, it is important to have good guards and good guard play.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. And there are no further questions in the queue. And Mr. Ainge, do you have any final comments?
I don't. Thank you very much. Thanks for all being here.
Well, thank you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude our conference for today. Thanks again for your participation and for using AT&T Executive Teleconference Services. You may now disconnect.